All right, so here's all the stuff for the new rig. We've got 5 GPUs. I got 3 1660 Ti's as well as 2 RX 580s. I do have another 1660 Ti coming. Haven't decided whether I'm going to take another 1660 Ti there or do another AMD, but this does have 8 slots here on this motherboard. It is pretty tight, so we'll have to see how well they actually fit on there and whether they have enough air to breathe. Might have to put some fans on them or something, but this is the BTC T37 mining motherboard. Got some RAM, hard drive or an SSD, got some PCIe splitters and the cables, 2 server power supplies, and then a regular ATX power supply, as well as some extra miscellaneous cables and screws and everything here. Hopefully we have everything we need. These 2 rails are what we're going to put it on. Haven't decided exactly how I'm going to lay it out. Probably the power supply over here, and then the 2 server power supplies over on the other side powering all the cards. You do have to power the board for each of the PCI slots, as well as obviously power the card. So hopefully that'll all work in there. These cords are a lot longer than I think I need, but you know, I can just hopefully maybe use some zip ties or something to manage them a little bit better. But that's what we've got, all the things, I think everything we need to put this together. So we will put it together and see how it looks. We've got SSD on there, got the power supply, got the RAM in there, hooked up with the SSD here, right there with the SATA cable. I could use a USB one if I need to, USB over there on the other side. Looks like I actually already have a power button in these, so that's kind of nice. There's already a power button actually on the board, so I don't have to use one of my little power buttons. And then over here, I have my 2 server power supplies. I had to end up turning one sideways because actually when you put a card in this slot, basically all of the card is on this side, so it needs some more space. And I'll have to actually see, I mean, that's really limiting the airflow there. So definitely gonna have to look at possibly putting a fan on there. Of course, right now I've only got 5 cards and possibly a 6th one soon. So really I could just not put a card here and maybe not put a card over there. I don't know. It's pretty tight over there too. But at least this is so far. It was kind of annoying getting all these little screws in here for the motherboard there, but it looks like it turned out okay. They all seem to be in there, so I don't know, looks a little bit, I wonder if I got something going on with that screw. I'll check that out. But anyway, so far it's looking pretty good, and we'll have to get the cards on there and get the power cords in, and hopefully we will get to this booted up. I do have Hive OS already installed on this, so I just got to get a flight sheet going on that, and then we'll hook it up and hopefully get some good hash rate out of it. One GPU on there. Looks like it's actually working pretty good. Got everything working like really right off the bat. I just plugged it in and turned it on. Good to go. So that's really promising. Obviously I'm going to have to mount these over here on the rails, and then I have to get both of them connected. Right now just one of them's connected, but once I get them both connected and I get the other 4 GPUs there on it, should be able to get this thing just going. Still gonna have to see about the spacing and whether we're gonna need some more airflow across these cars to see if they keep cool. But for now, very promising that it just turned on immediately on the first try. So that's pretty cool. Everything was working. Okay, I got a second card hooked up there, and now I can see how this is gonna do being so close to this card, if that's gonna be enough space, or if like I said, we're going to have to figure out some more airflow. That's about as much as I'm going to plug in right here. Definitely going to have to get downstairs with the rest of the rigs to get everything hooked up on the power so that we can actually hook up more than 2 cards. Beyond this, it's going to be, you know, I don't know how much power draw we can actually get out of here. So for now, I'm just going to leave it to 2 cards, but that way I can test out this one. So let's turn it on, see how that works out. Board comes on and it turns on the server power supply as well, because I got that hooked up here with this cable, and you can actually plug in the other one as well. And so hopefully all those will come on at the same time and get power. So now we've got the 2 running. Let's see how the temps go. So we got both of them plugged in. Looks like it went ahead and used the same overclock settings as I already had there in the first card. Makes sense because they're the same card. So that's good. So now we'll just give it a few minutes and see how the temps go. It's been a couple minutes and they're both hashing good. So just over 30 megahash each. But you can see obviously the one that's got the other card right up against it is already 9 degrees warmer. So that right off the bat is definitely harder to get the air in there. So let's see here. Now it's up to 65. It should start speeding up the fan. We'll see if it levels off. Unfortunately, fan's up to 85% and still doesn't seem like it's taking it off of that 67 degrees. If it can pull it back down a little bit, maybe I would be able to put the cards that close together, but it might be that I can only do 4 cards because it's just not enough space in there. Or maybe I can hook up some fans and blow fans through there to keep the airflow, but we'll have to see. Right now, fans 85% on that back one, and it just doesn't seem to be catching up. So here's one more test. Went ahead and separated the cards by 1 slot, so that way we have a gap in between. We'll see how that does. If that does well, I might just go ahead and do this as a 4-card rig. Honestly, with the ease of setup for this motherboard, you don't have to use any risers, anything like that. I would be fine with just doing 4 cards on that. Even if that's all you get out of it, that's great. And with that, I would only have to use 1 server power supply. So honestly, I might be able to just get, if I did another one, I could just get a better ATX power supply to power it. Because really that one's only a 450 watts. So if I got one, it was like 1,000 watts or something like that, I could just go ahead and power 4 cards and the motherboard all together, no big deal. But let's see how this one does as far as cooling now that it's got the space, and see if without fans we'll be able to keep it cool. All right, so here it is holding at 66 degrees, 84% on the fans. So not ideal actually, even with that gap in there. So last thing I'm going to try is, instead of the RX 580s, I'm going to try the 1660 Ti's to see how they can handle it. They do run a little bit cooler, and so I'd like to get that down. I really don't want it to run at 84% fans all the time, and I would definitely prefer it to be under 70 degrees. So that's just not quite good enough. Okay, here we are trying it with the 1660 Ti's. As you can see, they are super snug in there, just like the RX 580s were. But again, these cards do run a little bit cooler, so I'm hoping that they will continue to do so. And maybe that card up there will have enough air. We will find out shortly. But yeah, definitely looking like it's probably going to be a 4-card rig instead of an 8, as well as probably 1660 Ti's rather than RX 580s just because they run a little bit cooler. So we'll check it out here in a second as it levels out. Wow, okay, so here we go. These are the 1660 Ti's, and actually, amazingly enough, right there with the, I'm just shooting for 60 degrees Celsius, but they seem to be having no trouble keeping up with that with the 70% fan. So if it still levels off like this after a while, then maybe I could just make this whole rig, you know, I'll have at least 6 cards, so I can make it 6 1660 Ti's, or actually I have a couple supers that are even tinier than that, so a couple small supers in there along with 4 of these. That might actually work out pretty good. So yeah, this one might actually turn out pretty good as far as even up to 6 cards or 8 cards, as long as I keep it with cooler cards that have you know, don't get overheated too bad, because man, that is just like no space in between these cards. And these are pretty thin, small cards actually. They're not the smallest cards I have, but definitely not the biggest. So that is going to be nice actually with 1660 Ti. So I'll go ahead and take those RX 580s and I'll go ahead and add it to my other rig, and take the rest of the 1660 Ti's and put them on this rig. So that might be working out pretty good for this. So then I'll go ahead and get this all set up in the basement and see how it does with all of the things plugged in. Got both the power supplies. I'm definitely gonna have to do something about these cords. They're gonna get very much like a rat's nest with all of these cards in there, but we'll see how this goes, and I'll check back in once I got it all hooked up. So here it is. Got the complete BTC T37 installed here. I only have 3 GPUs. Turns out it's pretty hot in here. Actually, I don't know if you can read that. 94 degrees. Went ahead and turned off my Antminer Z11 because it's pretty loud. That way we can see this. Got everything set up here. Put it on the top rack. This one's a mostly NVIDIA miner, and that one's the AMD miner down at the bottom. So then we have this one at the top. With more airflow, I might be able to get more on here. I definitely think I can do 4 on this with no problem without getting any extra fans, but for now I'm just gonna leave it at that. I get one more GPU coming in, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this basically an MSI 1660 Ti rig for now. But there it is, all put together with only 3 GPUs, but it's running fine, and all the temps are good on that for now. And everything else is running as well. Of course, again, I did turn off the Antminer just because it's super loud. But anyway, that's it. New rig, BTC T37 mining motherboard, ready to go.